Let's feed some cows. It's Wednesday morning. We didn't do any combining yesterday. I ended up doing a bunch of paperwork, basically. We had some rain in the morning. It had been wet enough anyways. And ended up going over to the FSA office and reporting our wheat planted acres, our cover crop acres, ground that we seeded down to alfalfa. Spent a couple hours in that office doing that yesterday. On Monday, they were hauling manure with a C500, and it started running like crap. They were afraid to run it any farther, so they left that in the field. So I have to go over and look at that first thing this morning. I was talking to P&M Diesel yesterday afternoon, and if it isn't anything too drastic, we'll just drive it back to the shop and get her going. But they're going to give me a hand with it if it's something a little more serious. We're thinking maybe a fuel actuator or a timing actuator. We've had that problem on these ISX engines before. So Jared ended up unhooking it. He went over with the 900, W900, brought the trailer home, and they were afraid to drive the truck, so they didn't want to do any damage to it, so they left the truck in the driveway on the edge of the field. So we'll go over this morning before we get combining and get that back home. Probably just take it right up to P&M Diesel, have them take care of that. And it has 2 timing actuators on it and 2 fuel actuators, and it's got one of them that's screwed up. I'm thinking we've had the problem before, and I was talking to P&M Diesel last night, and they're seeming to think the same thing. So we'll get these cows fed and get on with the rest of the day. And loading the cottonseed onto the mixers now. I have cornmeal left to put onto them, and then I'll start both mixers up, get them mixing. Then I'll load the BMR silage and the corn silage onto them. Then I'll end up feeding the smaller mixer, the one that I just put cottonseed onto. I'll end up feeding that one off first. Get the fresh, that's for the fresh cows, and then we'll park that one. I'll come back and I will grab the other mixer, the larger one, and that's got the high cow ration on it. I'll feed in there's high cows in 2 different barns, so I'll feed a little bit down through both barns to all the groups. And then I have a heifer mix to load and a high cow mix to load on my next set. And then after my 3rd wagon load, mixer wagon load, I'll end up having feed into all the milk cows. Then I'll go into dry cows. There's 2 loads of dry cow feed that I mix. And there's and then I'll go into feeding heifers. There's 4 heifer mixes that we do, and then I'll load up my last load will be a cow load, milk cow load, and I'll leave about 7,000 or 8,000 pounds on it, feed the rest of it off. And then the last load that I load in the morning, my brother will go through the barns tonight and feed that last little bit off, and then he'll mix up one more load, and then that'll be all the feed that goes into the cows for the day. Alright, I just got done feeding the fresh cow load. I'm going to feed this big mixer wagon off here, and I'm going to put you guys right on the side of the mixer. We are just getting back into the corn silage from 2017. Kind of see the difference here. But we were feeding this kind of slow. We didn't want to put too much of the silage from 2018 into the diet yet because it's just not fermented enough. Cows don't really milk all that well on it. This is kind of monkeyed up because I ducked into it with the bucket a couple times this morning, but this is the actual defaced face to it. I mean, it's pretty hard there. You can't even claw it out. But over here, where I've monkeyed it up and picked at it, it has a looser face to it because I've broken into it a little bit. So that's why the defacer works a little better, because you don't have air getting into all these looser pockets here. So you know, I can peel all this apart. So if I can peel that apart, that means air can get into it and it can start breaking it down. You know, whereas here I can't pick at that at all. So we'll walk over to the high moisture corn pump. It's right about 8 o'clock right now. I don't imagine this audio is going to be the greatest with the wind blowing, but we've actually got some sun here today. This bunk's about half full. It's filling up very slowly because of the way the weather has been. It has not been the greatest here to get too much harvested here. So we're going to get back at it now today. We didn't harvest anything yesterday. I ended up reporting our planted wheat acres and our ground that we seeded down with alfalfa yesterday at the FSA office. And it took me 4 or 5 hours. I spent 2.5 hours in the office, in their office, registering the amount of acres planted. And of course it took me about 1.5 hours to 2 hours to compile all that information, get that information from the display that was in the planting tractor, and compile all that information. So we're going to run along now, and hopefully we don't have to fight too much mud today. Well, Sean and I are on the way to the field. Say hello, Sean. Hi. Say hello. We're on our way actually to test some corn at another location that we could move into in the event that we can't move where we're at. In other words, if it's too muddy. There's a truck that's broke down that we're going to run over and look at. The C5 had a problem the other day, and we left it in the field, and we're going to go over and check that. If we can limp that back to the shop, or at least take it up to P&M Diesel, we're going to do that too. But on our way there, we're going to stop by a couple fields and do some sampling. We've got the handheld tester there on the dash. It's not the greatest thing to use, but it gives you a ballpark figure of.
While we're at it, we should check Sandell's.
Yeah, we should.
Check the big field.
Yeah, check that big one. We're going to be right there anyway, so. So we're going to get on our way. The sun is shining nicely. We got a good strong breeze today. We got a half an inch of surge. Got a half an inch of rain. Actually, in the fields that we're going to be checking here, we got a half an inch. That's what came through on my Climate Field View app this morning. Okay, the field that the combine is parked in the last 24 hours, we got 0.2 of an inch of rain, and the last 72 hours we've gotten a half an inch. So the ground that we're on right now is a lot wetter in general anyways. It's just wetter ground, so it's probably good that we got less rainfall there than a field that we could potentially move to later here. Alright, we're going to walk inside the field here and get the tester up and running. Set that there. Yeah, let's pick up that garbage. Driveway here, you know. Okay, I have a couple of samples. That's easier. Just going to shell some of this off by hand. Dump it into the tester. Hard. Okay, we're going to give it the bite test first, and I'm going to guess. See how close I am here. Ooh. That's pretty dry. My guess is 22%. What's your guess, Sean? Did you give a bite test on that? I could be very wrong. This could be 20%. So, let's see the testing results here. It's reading its numbers. 21.6. What was my guess?
22.
Ouch! I was 0.4 off. With a margin of error of what?
3%.
Alright, this is how this tester works. It has two probes inside there, and depending on how much moisture is in the corn, it's reading the information back and forth between them two testers. And the more moisture that's in the corn, the stronger the connection it's going to have between those two probes. So let's take this other ear here. You gonna give a bite test, Sean? Oh my God. Does it taste good? Good. Have you had breakfast yet?
Nope.
No. Here, take that cob. Eat the cob.
No, I don't want to lose my teeth today.
Oh.
Corn's too dry. I want to guess a little less on that here.
You can guess a little less on this one? Alright, I'm going to give it the bite test too. Wow, you're right. That one is drier. So, my guess on this one is 19.8. Top on there straight. Okay, high moisture corn. Let that test. .9. What did I say?
19.8.
Yeah, I'm a little further off there. So we're running between 21 and 22 anyway. So that gives us a pretty good idea there. This corn here, believe it or not, it could very well be 3 points higher than that. But this gives us an idea that we really can't risk trying to get into this and to put it in the harvest store. But what we want to do is we want to wait until we are ready to get into this corn, and then what we would do is while we're sending it off for dry corn, if we run into a load that's hovering around that 25% mark, we can dump that in the harvest store. So that's kind of what we want to save the harvest store for. We want to save that for corn that's not quite considered dry corn. Okay, we're just rolling up to where they're spread manure. The C5 is here. We're going to look it over and see if it's something that we can just drive on out of here. And if that's the case, that's what we're going to do. And more than likely take it up to P&M Diesel and see if maybe we can't have them take a look at it. So we're just going to check the oil on it, make sure the basics are okay before we go and start it. See, we've got between the four of these, two of them do timing and two of them do fuel metering. They're actuators. And this is the fuel pump. I think that's the fuel pump solenoid there. I'm not sure, but there's another solenoid back there. So the oil level's okay on this. We took this thing right off. Is that open? It's open. Took this right off and made sure it was able to get air through there. Alright. I'll jump up in there, Sean. Make sure it's in neutral and start it. There's a test you can do on them. You can unplug them. Go ahead. This is a Cummins ISX. So we're going to let it air up. We're going to take it out of here. We're right up to the field now. We're going to pull in. We're going to get turned around. We're going to help Sean work on the power wire that goes to the work light on the grain buggy. The camera that is on the grain buggy is powered by the work light that combine there. Looks like Sean forgot to pick up a panel there, so we'll have to get that picked up on there. But that's the field that we were in last Monday night. We're just going to turn around here and get backed up into the edge of the field so that he could load this with the grain buggy. I'll get the truck stuck. Muddy conditions. Oh, I don't like this at all. We're going to pull the grain buggy down to the pickup truck so that we can stand on the tailgate or on the ladder in the back of the truck here. Alright, let's see what we got here, Sean.
Maybe
Well, here's what we got going on. This wire got pinched probably right in here somewhere. So put you guys down like this. Cut this zip tie. Alright, there's that guy there. Let me cut it here. I don't like these pliers, by the way. Suck.
cut it way back, don't you?
And put it around this side here like that. This up in here. There. And crimp this. These pliers, they don't have enough crimping power. Alright, this is shrink wrap, or heat. It's got heat shrink on these butt connectors here. So damn thing went out. There we go. Alright, we got that. Okay, go down a little bit. Keep going. Oh! Yeah, we got some issues there where it's broken away right there. The cylinder is bent. That's what our problem is. The cylinder is bent. So I've got to get a zip tie, and I've got to zip tie that right to there, and then I'm going to have to order a new cylinder. this one is back. So, with that being said, yeah. This is the conditions that we're dealing with. This field's enough to lay on a little bit of a side hill. Got some down corn here and there. Running sideways a little bit. Stay on the bottom side of this field so we don't run any corn over. That way if we get sliding, we're not sliding into standing corn. Try to get this one knocked off. The next field on the other side of this open ditch here is not much better, but it might be a little drier, and we've got one up above this that lays a little flatter, but I don't want to be into this side hill in the dark here, so I want to get this one done during the daylight. But we've got that field right there on the other side of that open ditch to do it, and we've got one on the other side of the hay field that's just above us. That lays a little flatter, so we'll just keep plugging away here, try to get this done. Sounds like we got a couple of good days of weather. Alright, I got done with that lower strip. Just getting ready to go into this next field. And we've got this, wow, there's an open ditch that runs down through here, separating everything. And we, this was one field back here, and we separated it, put alfalfa in up on the upper side. And we got, obviously have corn on this bottom side. But we have tiled this, and I mapped all the tile lines, and all the tile lines are in black on the screen here. So we've got a bunch of tile laid in here. And well, you can see we're right there. Then you got some outlets. Well, there and there. And then you can kind of see there's one outlet there in yellow, and yeah, so we have them mapped, and then that way we can go in if we have to fix any of them. If we want to add on to say if we wanted to add on to any of them, we know where to hook into. So this is all tiled this way and that way. So with that, we'll get going.